What up, y'all?
That was a horrendous way to start.
This is the way you start things, Luigi.
Trying to get the popular vote, the kids.
Yo, yo, we're the squirrels.
Ugh,
Ugh. Hey,
ugh.
hey, what's going on right now?
We're gonna slam this one. Half hour of power. Well, no more than that, but Martin's keeping me up. Not in a sexy way.
Oh, always sexy way.
Not if you saw me right now.
Really? Why?
I don't know. Use your imagination. It's always gonna be better than whatever I can tell you.
I'll imagine you not. You feel me? Right. How are we doing, man? What's going on? It's been a while.
I'm all right. I'm busy.
You're
I've
busy.
been
You've
at
been
this.
internshipping, haven't you?
No, well, kind of. Well, no, it's 2 weeks at this production company. I've done some things, seen some people, made some tea, all the stuff.
Lots of tea.
But I don't know if I should say this. Between you and me
Yeah.
and our vast listenership, Edgar Wright, the director of Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and Scott Pilgrim versus the World and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Great
I'm not a fan
bastion of.
of.
You're not a fan of?
Just makes bad films.
Oh, you're a fucking idiot. Like you are a fucking idiot. Sure, you are
Just not very entertaining.
what?
Carry on.
That's nonsense. A bastion of British filmmaking. One of our greats. Genuinely. Anyway, point is, I've been in his apartment twice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, dropping things off. Haven't met him though. Also, I picked up his prescription for him. I probably shouldn't say that. Shh, scrap that. Retract your hearing. Yeah. So, but that's cool. I bumped into Steve McQueen. Not the dead star of The Great Escape, but the director of
The good director.
the director of 12 Years a Slave and Hunger and
He's
Shame.
got a
Absolutely.
fantastic way of speaking.
Oh, he enunciates like no.
So
And
good.
I did the old. I saw him in the street when I was out getting lunch or something, and I just was like, I did the old.
Steve.
Oh wait, I was like Stephen Queen, and he was like yes, and I was like, and I was walking next to him, and I was like, sorry, I don't want to take your time, and then you're like, how can I assimilate all my kind of feelings and kind of wealth of understanding and appreciation for his work in a very short time so he doesn't get irritated or seem like and in the end all that comes out is I'm a big fan of your film. It probably wasn't quite as sad as that, but nothing substantial. And he was like, thanks man, really appreciate it, and like patted his chest, and I was like, but in a kind of very lovely spoken way. He's got a voice like golden syrup. But I
Sticky.
did like that. That was big. That was for me. That was because I'm a huge fan of this. Like I think he again is absolutely one of our finest directors. So that was a kind of big thing for us. It was not often like I don't know. It's not many people I'd be kind of slightly taken aback by. He was yeah. I was a little bit. Normally I've worked at a few film festivals. I've met quite a few
Famous
directors. I
people.
like to think I can keep pretty chill.
Chill out.
But no, I was a little bit like, hello.
Hello, sir. Be my friend.
Oh, I'd love him to be my
Did you
friend.
just want him to like offer you some work?
Yeah, he'd be like, hello, random dude in the street, you with your skanky long hair, yeah, you weirdo. Yeah, have a job.
One day.
Yeah.
Well, wherever you saw him, you should go back there tomorrow.
No, this was last week, so
Okay. Still
uh,
same place. Same
anyway,
thing
no,
applies.
this has got to be a lean podcast because I've got a bedtime,
All
young
right,
man.
whatever, mate.
So we're rambling
Right,
now. Anyway, point is,
you met a
I met him. It was
Steve
nice.
McQueen.
I've done some other things.
Nice.
Dibbly-blah-blah-blah. Everything's cool. Over to
Righto.
you.
Right over to
What have you
me.
been?
What have I done? So it's been a while. I've been to a gig.
Oh yeah,
It's,
why is that?
it was a friend's like birthday thing, and their friends were playing, and it was underneath a building,
Yeah.
and it was loud at times and then quiet at others.
Was it good or was it
It was
awful?
all right. It was all right. It's your standard. Well, I say standard. I don't really go to gigs, but it was your, you know, they play quite okay music, and it sounds
What
okay.
music?
Well, who knows, man? No, I don't think anyone knows the style.
Bloody hell.
Sort of. Here we go. I was at the Cookie in Leicester. Okay. I actually took down some notes so I can talk to you. Okay.
Great.
Band one, Super Ego.
Oh, don't give me this. Just who was the band you saw?
Super Ego.
Yeah.
Yeah, fairly similar songs. They had some standout tracks. One in particular, "Climb Over Me," uh, pretty nice. They
Yeah.
did all
What
right.
kind of
But
music is
then,
it?
what kind of music? It's sort of like, I don't know, rocky.
Great.
but to follow it up, the guy who like the main night it was like their launch evening of their album, a band called Humble He. It's more like a chilled out. So you sort of went from sort of quite energetic rock to like chilled out rock, and it didn't really work. It should have been the other way around, in my opinion.
Well, the people launching an album should have opened for the band.
Well, I just feel like they shouldn't have got a better band to go before them.
Yeah, it's awkward. That was the
Alright.
thing. Oh, we haven't talked since I saw Black Sabbath's final
Oh mate,
show in London.
and
Um,
was it as good as my gig?
I mean, it was fucking Black Sabbath. It was the best band, in the world.
For some people,
Pioneers of an entire genre of music. Who else can you say has done that in the last, 50 years? Pioneer, like started
Lady
the
Gaga,
sound. What genre has she started?
like awkward pop.
Not a genre. And bullshit. Awkward pop's been around since the 30s.
It's not genre though, so how has it been around since the 30s?
Because you're chatting shit. But Sabbath were laid down the blueprint of what was metal. They did it, and you can that you can trace it back further to I don't know, Cream or Led Zeppelin or the MC5 or something like that. But it's not. They distilled it and they industrialized it and they cemented it in its foundations, and it became the grounding of an entire genre of music. You talk to any sick any metal band, anyone working in hard rock or metal, whoever you like, whether as mainstream or as little league as you want, they will all cite Sabbath as the grandfathers. They are it. And yeah, it was amazing to see them, from the fucking mile back that I was sat at.
Did you actually see them?
Because it was the O2. They were tiny little specks,
Cute
but
little
it was.
humans.
But the thing is, it's because it's the O2. It's such a grand stage, and it's such a performance, a big show. It's all, you get a pretty decent sense of it wherever you are.
Fair play.
But yeah, it was amazing. Ozzy was,
Old and dying.
well, he's clapping away, doing his little shuffly walk around the stage, and he was, to be fair, I was actually expecting much less from him, because I've seen live performances from him in the past where his voice has gone. He really can't hit those notes, and I'm sure there's a bit of digital trickery going on behind the scenes, but he, it sounded totally legit, and every song was kind of buffed up with this, with Tony Iommi's insane guitar work, like the best. Just being able to have heard those riffs and those guitar leads and just done live, possibly for the last time, it depends
Did he
if
cry?
in 10 years.
I think
No,
he said
no,
he was
I
going to
didn't.
cry, didn't he?
Who said?
Ozzy.
No, maybe when they did their final gig in Birmingham.
Oh,
But no,
so
it was
you
all-
were okay. I thought you were at
no,
the
I was at
final gig.
the last gig in London,
Oh,
and
is
then
he
they did a
from
little.
Birmingham then?
Yeah, they're from Birmingham. They all are.
That's unfortunate.
I know, but who'd have thought the best band, ever came from Birmingham? But that's why I think it's absolutely pivotal for their sound. They were poor kids from a shithole.
Who loved metal?
Well, no, they didn't love metal because metal wasn't their thing.
Yeah, but they
They-
played
they-
with metal.
Well, they worked in factories and stuff.
There you
It's
go.
literally, it's the sound. It's the hard rock sound of, Cream and Zeppelin and blah, 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 blah. But it pumped through these industrial factories. Tony Iommi had lost his fingers in a of his strumming hand in an industrial an accident. He'd had those two or three of his fingers lopped off basically halfway down, and he wore these kind of little molded plastic studs with the leather tip and you can still see them. He still has them.
That's horrible.
He's the best guitarist alive today. I think we can. That's, I don't think, contentious in the slightest, because people might say, Hendrix or Frank Zappa is some, whoever, but they're dead. So you can say, I don't know. I don't know. Clapton's good, but Tony Iommi is in his field, he is unrivaled.
Is he
And
the
watching
guy that
him
will
was
he win like all the sort of Paralympic awards, but
no,
he,
he's
he
not
can't
Paralympian.
handle it in the real world?
No,
Real Olympics.
mate. And Geezer Butler, the bassist, he was off the chain.
Geezer
It was
Butler.
brilliant. Geezer Butler's the bassist and the kind of, well, used to be the lead lyricist of Sabbath, and it was just a shame to miss kind of Bill Ward, who was the original drummer, didn't come back. They had an incredible drummer playing in for them and stuff, which was amazing. But it would have been amazing to see Bill Ward, especially in those first 5-6 albums, Sabbath, between like 1970 and 75, 76. He brought this kind of jazz inflected drumming style to these songs, which gave it a bit of a kind of edge. And this was kind of incredibly competent, incredibly like vicious metal drumming, but amazingly well done. And yeah, it was just a hell of a show. That's I'm glad I was there.
Well worth it, man.
Oh yeah, I'm glad I spent that 113 quid.
Oh,
Ugh.
you could have gone to USC London for that.
Yeah, but I'd rather see Black Sabbath at their last ever gig than see. I'll just stream it, mate.
Go on now, D.
All right.
You do that with that illegal stuff. Anyway, mate.
Go on, over to you then. What's
have
going
been
on with
watching,
you?
What's going on with me? Well, I did the gig. What else have I been doing?
Yeah, no, you're right. I
Quite
don't
a
really.
bit of TV, man.
Yeah, go on. Hit me with what you've been watching.
Okay, so the Santa Clarita Diet. That's a TV show, believe it or not. It's on Netflix. It's quite good. Okay, so the idea is, you got a married couple. They've got a daughter. Okay, the wife, played by what's her name? Drew Barrymore. She becomes ill and then starts craving raw meat and then human flesh.
Oh, right.
It's a weird concept, but it works really well, and it's sort of like slightly comedic. It's a good watch. It is a good watch. I think there's like 10 episodes. They all flow quite nicely. They're not too long.
So it's a kind of black comedy.
Well, there's just white people in it. There is one black guy.
Very good.
But yeah, they've got cops at two cops, a sheriff department cop and a like city cop either side of them. So they've got some sort of rivalry going on, and it's good. It works well for like a nice, easy 25-minute episode.
Oh, 25 minutes. That sounds quite good.
Nice,
I might give it a go.
Punchy.
Because I'm kind of. I'll tell you what. You want to know something? I've watched an entire series of a TV show in the last week.
Fargo.
Oh yeah.
I actually started watching it last night.
Yeah. Well, let me just have a little splurge about how insanely excellent I think it is.
Release.
And I will fill this in, but I remember it coming out, and I saw it had Martin Freeman and Billy Bob Thornton and people I'm very big fans of. It came out in 2014 or something, and I was like, Fargo is one of my favorite films, the Coen Brothers film. And I was like, as good as this TV show may be, the talent behind it being, really promising, I don't need to see a TV show spread out over 10 hours of one of my favorite films. It's under 2 hours. I don't need that in my life. And I'd never thought of anything of it again. And it's only in the last few weeks that it's come up in conversation with a couple of different people.
Yes.
who have said you've got to watch it. It's absolutely excellent. And I explained my point. I didn't want to see it, and they were like, "Well, it's not really that. The first series kind of is, but then the second series is amazing, and it's a prequel set in the '70s and all this." And I was like, "Okay, maybe I'll give it a go." And then some people said the first series was better, so I started watching the first series, and it does this fascinating thing of its. At first, it kind of, if you've seen the film, you kind of there's kind of character beats and narrative devices that seem to be, a retread of the original film.
Yeah.
The central character of Martin Freeman seeming to be the character of William H. Macy plays in the original film, but in this time he's an insurance salesman instead of a car salesman. And I'm kind of like, okay, I know where this is going. And then there's a policeman character who has kind of changed roles with the female partner who's in the film pregnant. So you kind of like, okay, they've mixed up the character dynamics, but it's familiar, but it's kind of different. And as the show goes on, it's incredibly satisfying for someone who's kind of invested in Fargo, who's a fan of Fargo, because you kind of start to realize that it's actually totally different. It's a totally different story. And then to give away a minor spoiler for a show that came out, 3 years ago or whatever, it turns out that it's kind of a sequel to the film in a
Okay.
very subtle way, or a kind of offshoot in a way. So they kind of exist in the same narrative, the same world, but they're not
Universe.
directly linked in a way. But then it's also, and it's absolutely phenomenal. It's one of the finest pieces of writing, acting. The it looks fantastic, really, really kind of cinematic, beautifully shot. Um, it's got this kind of pitch black comedy that's teeters on the edge of the violence is really kind of like those well constructed, and there are scenes of tension that are really, really kind of like palpable. It's just brilliant. I was absolutely hooked, enthralled by the first series of Fargo. I'm now a couple of episodes into the second series, and
How many series
um,
are there?
two. There are two.
Two
The third
series.
one's coming out either later this year or perhaps maybe early next year. I'm not 100% certain. But that's got like Ewan McGregor in it. And the second series, again, it looks great. It's got great actors. It's got Patrick Wilson. It's got Ted Danson. It's got Gwyneth Paltrow. And so it's got really good casting in, but it hasn't hooked me in the same way yet.
Right.
Um,
Oh, so is it
and
completely different storyline or like?
Oh yeah, it's the second one. It's essentially the idea of Fargo is a kind of anthology series based in Minnesota, based around this Fargo area.
Mm,
It's kind of something totally different. And then as I was watching, this is kind of really nerdy, and for someone who's a huge Coen Brothers fan, obviously the guys who did like No Country for Old Men and Open Brother, Where Art Thou, Miller's Crossing, blah blah blah, Burn After Reading, and so on. It's kind of like watching the first series. I was like, this is kind of like an amalgamation of many of their different films. Like as you kind of get into it, you kind of realize that the Billy Bob Thornton character is a kind of riff on Javier Bardem's character in No Country for Old Men. The character Anton Sugar. There is a kind of direct parallel in this kind of stalking, almost immortal hitman figure, and then there's a character later on that almost is exactly Brad Pitt's character from Burn After Reading, and it's almost like a kind of greatest hits compilation of really subtle references to Coen Brothers film in it. Basically, it's really, really smart intertextual kind of homage, kind of doing something different with an original text, but it's as just a kind of dark, edgy, funny, tense thriller. It just works perfectly. I thought it was the first series. I thought was absolutely one of the best pieces of kind of thriller drama TV since Breaking Bad. I'm really, really impressed.
Breaking Bad isn't good.
That's just a stupid statement. I'm not even gonna
Well,
justify
you've
it.
ruined all of that beautiful words with
Well, point those beautiful words. Point is, anyway. So second series, I'm gonna watch it. It's just taking me a little bit more time. It hasn't, engulfed me the same way. But go on. What did you think? So you've started watching it,
See, at least you've only seen the first episode.
right?
Uh, what do I think? I don't really know what's going on. It's very, Martin Freeman's dude. I imagine he's going to flip at some point and become or use that guy from the hospital uh, to do his bidding, Uh,
God, there are literally moments in it that made me kind of go that it just kept pulling the rug out from under me. It really does go, into some kind of like unpredictably dark
I hope he
territories.
kills his wife in a horrific way.
I'm not going to tell you anything about it,
He
but
does. Haha, yes.
no. I'm
If
just
only
telling you
the dude
this.
from Breaking Bad did that to his horsewife, and we'd all be
Oh,
happy.
his fault. That's horrible to say, horse
She
wife.
looks like a horse, and she's
Uh,
horrible.
Point is, no, but I'm not saying what happens. But in the original show, the kind of the plot device is this guy, kind of the similar character to Martin Freeman's in the show, is he kind of gets these two hitmen to kind of kidnap his wife to get her an
Okay.
insurance policy, and then everything goes wrong. This is different, and it does. So you can see how at first I thought, oh, this is I know where this is going. I know what this is. But yeah, it's not that. It's not that at all. Go on
All
anyway. Yeah.
right. Well, that's about it. I haven't seen much, to be honest.
All
That's
right.
it.
Fair enough.
I've seen the first episode. Sort of fell asleep to it.
Oh gosh.
That's it. But I am going to keep on to it. I will have watched a lot more next time.
Yeah, good. Do that because
That's
it's
it.
I absolutely love it. But I tell you what, I have seen many other things as well. What have I seen? I'll just do a quick rundown because I've been to the cinema a lot. I saw a few things. So I saw Split, the new M Night Shyamalan film.
Yes. Some people have been saying good things.
It's a good film. It is. It's a return to form. I'm going to keep things quite snappy. McAvoy's great. It goes to some kind of unpleasant places in a way that some of them I don't think are entirely necessary and benefit the film in a great way. But it is a return to this kind of quite claustrophobic, quite intense, quite tricksy turny, suspense thriller, slow burn suspense thriller like he's been known for in the past. Obviously, the setup is James McAvoy's character has multiple personality disorder.
But like
Uh,
loads of
he
personalities. Is
has,
that
yeah, he
right?
has 20. He has so the setup. He has 23. A couple of them. Well, one of them kidnaps the three girls, which sets the plot in motion. They
Yep.
are held captive, and this is where the idea of the film is that there's this theory that um, these different personalities take on different physical traits. So, for example, one of the personalities is diabetic, but none of the other are. And one is one might have so they take on the physical traits and characteristics of that individual personality
Right.
living inside the McAvoy's character's head. And they are talking of that a 24th personality is soon to come, which is called the Beast, and has,
Whoa.
yeah, which is a kind of nice foreshadowing and has a kind of like mythical strength and power. And this is why these girls have been captured, is to be fed to the Beast. And it's this idea of, when this mindset does overtake him, will it, transform him? There is a kind of fantasy edge to it without ever, not to give it away. But then there are some things that happen in the film that maybe I'd like to go back and talk about in a few weeks, because
Okay.
it's not the twists in the same way that there are twists in like The Sixth Sense or Unbreakable in the same way, but there is one or two things that happen in the film, in the late end of the film, that I'm not going to say, but that I can't remember the last time we say like, oh, it's jaw dropping, my jaw dropped. I was with my good lady, and
Oh.
there's a specific moment that I'm just going to allude to, is that my jaw dropped, my mouth was agape, and I turned to her. She was looking at me like, "What are you talking about?" Because there's something going on. It turns out in this film that says something, does something on a grander scale that if you're in on it, they've got to be so vague. It is absolutely like whoa.
Jaw-droppingly good.
Yeah, kind of. All I'd say is maybe go back and watch, I don't know, Sixth Sense or Unbreakable or Signs before you see this, and maybe it will have more of an impact. That's all I'll say. So it's an
Okay.
exciting thriller. It has some problematic elements. There's a whole kind of subplot, well, not it's told in flashbacks of the main character played by Anya Taylor-Joy, who is a phenomenal actress, by the way. She's going to be huge. She was in The Witch, which was my second favorite film
Yeah,
of
you
last
spoke
year,
about it. Yeah, I remember that.
and she's phenomenal. Anya Taylor-Joy. She was in the not great Netflix film about Barack Obama, which I watched. Which, it was very televisual. It didn't give. But anyway, she was in that, and she was good in that. But she is going to be. She's absolutely. I don't think she's the next big thing. She's brilliant, and she's great in this as well. Anyway, there's a kind of subplot of flashbacks to her past, which I think are slightly uh, problematic and a little bit unpleasant. Maybe not for a particularly good reason. To be honest, I think you could cut all that out of it. It's quite a long film. I don't think it needs to be a long. Maybe cut 20 minutes of those fucking flashbacks out, and it would be maybe a better film for it. Anyway, McAvoy's great. It's tense. It's claustrophobic, slightly problematic at times, but fun, and it's got a nice vein of quite dark humor to it as well. And yeah, God,
It's got a moment.
it's got a banger. It's
I'm
got
gonna
a
have to
banger.
watch it. I think there's a good link online. For the.
Yeah, but like I say, have you seen Unbreakable? Have you seen The Sixth Sense?
I've seen Sixth Sense. I've watched Unbreakable, but I can't remember it. But I
Right.
believe it's just popped up on Netflix as a viewing
Well,
option.
Unbreakable is for me his best film. It's honestly one of my. It's really high on my favorite films of all time. Unbreakable. I think it's.
Really?
I absolutely adore Unbreakable. It's a film I watch every couple of years and just reminds me of how great it is. And in light of this return to form for Shyamalan, I'm going to watch Unbreakable again, and I think maybe you should too before you see the film.
I think it's not on Netflix. It must be on Amazon Prime. Oh no, that's Unthinkable.
If you have the
Also, a
opportunity,
great film.
I think it's just genius what it does with this mythology of superhero. It's got the twist at the end of it for me is even better than the whole Bruce Willis as a ghost all along in Sixth Sense. For me, it's an absolute doozy, really dark. One of Samuel L. Jackson's best roles. Bruce Willis, better than ever. I just think that film is so. I think it's an absolutely perfect film. I adore Unbreakable. I'm going to watch it again. But yeah,
it's not on Amazon either.
well, don't watch. I would like to say maybe try and give it a watch. But yes, watch Split and then maybe we'll have a little bit of a deconstruction because
Let's do
it.
it.
It's worth talking about in spoilers.
Cool.
But yeah, anyway, I saw Lego Batman.
Is it worth it?
Yeah, I was going to see. I wanted to go see Hacksaw Ridge, which I still haven't bloody seen. Oh wait, shit! Have I told you I saw Trainspotting 2?
Yeah.
We've done that.
Oh no, maybe we haven't. It's been a while since we actually spoke podcasting.
Well, I fucking hell. After I saw Trainspotting 2, and it was brilliant.
Woo!
And there's this huge moment where you just have this exhale of relief, this where you realise it's all worked out.
Oh right,
Goes
so
on,
they
and
do
they've
well.
done it. They've made this phenomenally kinetic, exciting, funny, breakneck pace sequel to the best film of the 90s or whatever, the most important British film of the 90s, easily the one that that set the blueprint of what the aesthetic of British cinema would be for the next 20 years. And they're back, and it's really kinetic and vibrant and engaging, and everyone's brilliant, and the soundtrack's great. And Danny Boyle has a way of he tells stories that can only be told through film in a way that his films are very filmic, which I know sounds a bit strange, but his films are so kind of about the sound and image and how the story is told through that medium. and it's just great. Like I say, I can't remember a film I've enjoyed more watching in ages. I just absolutely loved being back with those characters. I thought it had something to say. I think the kind of updating of soundtracks has got a kind of really, it's all slightly bittersweet because there's not clear resolutions. It's got a beautiful ending, I think. I'd love to, just meet the characters again in 20 more years and they're
Old
60.
men.
But yeah, I don't care. It's just absolutely brilliant. I'm going to see it again. Lego Batman is good.
Does it stand up to the Lego film?
No, but I think that I'm a huge Lego Movie fan. I think due in large part to Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who are the writers and directors of the Lego Movie, who did Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs and 21 and 22 Jump Street, and are writing and directing the new Han Solo.
Cool.
Yeah, the Han Solo origin story film. Which who'd have thought that was going to be a good idea? And then you've got great casting. You've got Donald Glover
Disney
and Childish Gambino as young Lando,
Which
which
is
is
a great
brilliant.
casting. He is a
Oh, it's perfect.
fantastic human.
Yeah, it's perfect, absolutely perfect. And you get Phil Lord and Chris Miller, two of the I think the best new directors of the last decade. Absolutely perfect at kind of smart, snappy comedy like no one else. I still think 21 and 22 Jump Street are kind of unrivaled in modern American comedy, especially of that ilk.
I
With all
agree.
I think those two films are absolutely spot on. I adore them, and I had no idea I would.
It's very
But
rare I like a film like that. You sort of comedy film.
it's very rare that I like a
And you,
comedy film with, Seth Rogen and stuff. And Channing Tatum, I've never
he's
knew
brilliant comedic
phenomenal,
actor.
absolutely phenomenal comedic actor. I had no idea. And you kind of, you see him in kind of Dear John or whatever, Nicholas Sparks films, and he's fine. He's all right in Magic Mike and things like. He's been all right in films, but fuck me, when I remember seeing back in 2012, 2013, whatever, when I first saw 21 Jump Street, I was absolutely blown away by him. At 22 Jump Street, he's even better. He's absolutely still as a show. Anyway, point is, they're in charge of the new Han Solo film. It's going to be a good film. Who'd have thought it? Like, well, it's all looking good. And I was someone who said we do not need a a Han Solo origin story, and I don't want to see anyone but Han Solo play, but Harrison Ford play Han Solo. I'm sorry, I'm rambling. I'm tired.
It's there.
Anyway, it looks good. It's in capable hands. I think it's probably going to be a very good film. Anyway, and he is great. Lego Movie was brilliant. Lego Batman is very, very full on. Will Arnett plays Batman, who I really like. They've got a kind of fun take on Batman, the cinematic lore of Batman. There's poking fun at every kind of incarnation of
Yeah.
Batman, which is funny, and it's absolutely breakneck. The first 20 minute, half an hour of that film, you doesn't let up. You can't breathe for the onslaught of kind of puns and jokes and visual references and so on and so forth. It's almost totally overwhelming. But it's fun and it's engaging, and I had a little nap at one point. I was very tired. And I'm talking literally probably about a minute and a half max. But no, it was good. It was fun. It was creative visually. It was so dynamic, almost to the point of excess. But it's a good fun film. You will get a lot of laughs out of it. It's kind of like maybe not every joke lands, but there are so many jokes. You just kind of something's going to hit, and it does amuse. I don't think it kind of has the depth and the kind of. It kind of sounds weird to say about the Lego Movie, but a kind of thesis behind it, an idea behind it, and a kind of introspective look on itself and on the idea of creation and playing and that kind of dynamic. But not to get into Lego Movie because we're not reviewing that, but it's good. It's a good, fun film. Watch it if you want a dynamic pun fest.
Quality little. I love, like when they're making the water, everything is just Lego and it's fantastically done.
And it's that again, and it's got this kind of weird halfway house between what looks almost like stop motion animation and digital animation, and it's a really kind of, it is an interesting effect and it's fun. But Lego Movie still exists, and that's the best one. But it's good. It's very good. It's good. It's funny.
Quality. Wait, what I have you seen anything about The Tick? TV show on it's
Oh,
Amazon.
it's with the big chin, is it?
Big blue chinny man.
Right, yeah, that's an old cartoon or comic or something, isn't it?
Uh, I haven't looked up it actually. I think it might be though. I think I might have
Yeah,
heard something it is.
I know of it,
He's
but
just
go
a
on.
little tick man. Well, he's not little
Yeah,
though. He's big, and it's like it's set in like a world of like superheroes and villains have been around for decades. Uh, so they're all very known, and it's very sort of comic booky in terms of how these heroes and villains look. They're all very
and it's
like
got that
big
guy.
rubber pieces on them.
Yeah, it's got that guy from what's it, Patrick Warburton, the guy from that TV show that he done did. You know who he's in that TV show. I don't watch, but and he's also in a series of unfortunate events, which is fine.
Can't think who
What is
he
it?
is.
You know, he's the one who plays the Tick. He's got quite a kind of
Let me
deep
have a look.
voice and a
Here we
big,
go.
strong kind of jaw. Rules of
Oh, is that
Engagement. That's what he's
him?
in. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The
He's in Rules of
narrator in
Engagement in series of unfortunate
yes,
events,
yes.
which I still haven't finished, but I'll get around to it.
It could be him. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, in a
He's
way, it
not
is
wearing a big
fulfilling.
blue outfit, so.
Well, he is in the photo I've got of him. All right. So, have you seen that yet, or is it just you're talking
So
about it?
there's only one. So there's only like the pilot. The first episode is out.
Is it on Netflix,
It's on Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime? Okay. And how? What do you think of it?
It's good. I'm I'm looking forward to what comes next.
Okay. Yeah, it is
Uh,
a comic. Or a TV show. I remember it.
I just don't know really how well it is going to go because it is very what's the word? It's quite comedic. It's quite like so you just don't expect, the guy the Tick, he's got a stupid name, he's a stupid little superhero. But he's got superpowers and bullets can't hurt him or anything like that. But it's also sort of touching on whether is the Tick just sort of figment of this main character's imagination.
Mm.
You sort of don't really know what's going on. It's quite excited to see what they sort of make of it.
Okay, so worth a watch.
For sure, for sure.
I might give that a little check out.
Here we go. The Tick is I'm gonna mess with his last name. It's Peter Serafinowicz.
Peter Serafinowicz.
Yes, there you
I
go.
love Serafinowicz.
That's who it is. He's
But I thought,
the Tick.
oh, I thought it was What did I have then? What did I have thinking it was Patrick Warburton?
Who was in? Oh, that's where I'm recognising his face from. He was in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
He
Peter
was.
Serafinowicz is a mainstay. Again, he's in Shaun of the Dead. He's a main,
Nah.
British comedic television. He's in everything from, Black Books to. Oh, he's fantastic. I adore Peterson. He did the voice of Darth Maul, funnily enough, that people don't always know about him. He didn't do the body of Darth Maul, but he did the voice of Darth Maul.
Maybe because he's too sort of. His face doesn't change.
He's huge.
He's huge. Yeah,
adore-
you can see that in the Tick as well.
Okay, that's interesting. I'm now absolutely going to.
For sure, watch it, and it's one that first episode's been released. I'm not sure when the next ones are popping
Yeah.
out. I assume it's going to be a weekly thing.
Mhm.
Who knows, man? Let me have a look. I'm looking now for it. It won't tell me. Meh. But yeah, definitely worth a watch. I'm excited for what's to come.
I'm going to now.
Go on.
Jesus, bugger me Christ. I'm watching this on the go. It's directed by Wally Pfister, who is the absolute genius cinematographer behind the majority of Christopher Nolan's films, from Inception to all the Dark Knight trilogy to The Prestige. Absolutely the best cinematographer working in big budget Hollywood films. No one knows how to shoot a kind of grand scene better than him. He's a total genius. I absolutely love him. That's really interesting, and he's directing the series of The Tick. He directed a film, Transcendence, which I still haven't seen, with Johnny Depp and Cillian Murphy and Rebecca Hall and so on, which got pretty shitty reviews, which I was a bit upset by because I was really looking forward to him because I think he's an absolutely phenomenal cinematographer. So I'm 100% going to have a checkety check of that pilot.
Get it out, man.
Yeah,
I think you'll
and
enjoy it.
I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save it for next week. But I saw a preview because it comes out next week. It comes out next Friday. So, and I know we're going to be doing a podcast before then. So I'm going to save my little speak up of the new
Bill.
Denzel Washington directed and starring film Fences, which I saw last night with him and Viola Davis. Got it's a bit in this in the Oscar running based off a play by August what's August Wilson or something, I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, I'm going to save that because which a little bit closer to when it actually comes out. Just because August Wilson, that's the one, based off a play. But Denzel is obviously it's his first film he's directed, so there's it's definitely one to talk about.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, I'll save that. And yeah, anyway, over to you.
Over to me. I've watched loads this week, to be honest. Hunt for the Wilder People.
Oh, finally, you watched it.
Yeah.
Isn't it absolutely phenomenal?
It's quality, mate. It really is.
Haven't we already done this?
No, we haven't.
Did we talk about this in private?
We touched on it, didn't we?
We did touch on it together. Yeah, God, it's good, isn't it?
It's and like I said, it's the kid actor is
the Scuck's life.
Sorry?
That's what he says, the Scuck's life.
I thought you were saying his name. I was like,
Scuck's life chose me.
That's it.
Yeah. Anyone who I think it's honestly one of those films for anyone and everyone.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. It's grand. I don't know what else to say about it. It's just watch it. Hunt for the Wilder People. And also we were saying, it's the director Taika Waititi who kind of cut his teeth on directing episodes of Flight of the Conchords and stuff. He's done a couple of other films, Eagle versus Shark with Jermaine Clement from Flight of the Conchords, and he also did What We Do in the Shadows, which is that kind of
quality
mockumentary about vampires and very, very funny.
Apparently they're making a TV show on that.
Is it the one with the werewolves and stuff? Because I will absolutely watch that. But Hunt for the Wilder People is, and I've loved everything he's done, but this is, a step above him, everything he's done and everything anyone else is doing, to be honest. Hunt for the Wilder People is just the most fantastic, most achieved film I've seen in God knows how long. And he's directing the new Thor film, Thor Ragnarok. So I'm putting my money down now to say that film is going to be the shit. If it's not one of the, or if not, it's the best Marvel film to date, I will be absolutely taken aback. I think that's going to be in the running for best Marvel film, and just on the strength of his, previous showings alone.
Well, you kind of expect every new Marvel film to be the best one, except for Guardians of the Galaxy, which is just a standout.
No, you don't. I don't expect.
Well, you would expect it, though, wouldn't you?
No, I didn't expect Doctor Strange to be it. It wasn't. I didn't expect. Well, I kind of did expect Civil War to be it a bit, and it kind of almost was. But all the other ones, Ant-Man, I didn't expect that to be top, and it's not a bad film, but it's not.
It did a lot better than everyone thought it would.
Well, and again, originally Edgar Wright, my friend, Edgar Wright, who obviously did. He's one of the writers. He's still credited. Him and Joe Cornish are still credited writers on Ant-Man, and they were originally. Well, Edgar Wright was gonna direct it, and I still think that would have been, if he'd done it, if Edgar Wright had done that film, it would have been, a contender for best Marvel film. And there were elements of it that still kind of felt like they were trying to do what he would have done, but
yeah,
he would have done it right. But due to kind of creative differences and stuff like that, I don't think he wanted to kind of shack up in the same way that kind of Disney and Marvel wanted him to. With the kind of extended universe of it, he wanted to do his own thing. I think a bit too much of an auteur maybe, but as good as Ant-Man was, there's always that kind of phantom that's of the film that he would have done, which for me, it's a good film. It's absolutely a good Marvel film, but yeah, Thor Ragnarok is going to be the big daddy though. That's going to be. You wait, mark my words.
When is it out? Is it early? It is the
Somewhat.
next Marvel one. I'm not sure if it's coming out in May or.
I don't think it's that soon. No, we haven't even got a trailer yet. It must be the last.
Well, we've got one coming out in March. I think one May and then one like September time.
No, we've got the next one's Guardians of the Galaxy, isn't it?
I wasn't sure. I didn't think it was.
Yeah, next one's Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I think is out in May. Yeah, and then Thor Ragnarok's out in October. That's the way they're doing it.
I'm finding out right now.
I've done it. I've looked at it. 27th of October, Ragnarok comes out, and Guardians of the Galaxy is the May one.
It is.
I know.
Yeah, you're right. You're completely right.
I'm always right.
Yeah.
Right, it's coming up.
I always thought it was getting. Oh, there we go. We've got what's coming out in March is Logan.
Oh yeah, but that's not Marvel.
Yeah, I know. It's touching on it, but that's like the quality one I'm waiting for and all.
Yeah, that is actually absolutely. I'm
building up
with you. Couldn't agree more. That's absolutely my most anticipated film of the next few months for sure.
For sure.
But anyway, coming up close on my bedtime, there's one more thing I'd like to talk about.
I've got one TV show I want to touch on as well.
You go first, mate.
Okay. Another Netflix original, Riverdale. Okay.
Oh yeah. Is that? Yeah, I've seen that. Is that emblazoned in that kind of like American high school style writing?
Totally. I've linked it down sort of the new sort of OC One Tree Hill kind of thing. You got.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful humans, all acting like they're a lot younger than they actually are.
Yeah. We're 17.
Yeah. You look 25. But it's filled with your whole mystery, who's getting with who, someone died, who killed them, all your standard sort of American teen drama. That's it. Watch it. 2 episodes out. It's another Netflix of doing somewhere it is just weekly updates.
And is it good?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I am really enjoying it. Though I was a big fan of the OC and One Tree Hill, so.
Yeah, I'm not. So I don't know if that's gonna perhaps tickle my finger. That's not a thing to say.
Yeah, it is now. You can tickle your finger.
April. Guardians of the Galaxy 2's out in April. 28th of April. Everyone's looking forward to that then. Anywho, I'd like to quickly mention that now I can say it. My favorite, the best metal band working today, seeing as how Black Sabbath aren't anymore. Well, and to be honest, haven't really been. They released 13 in 2013, but apart from that, they haven't been. They haven't been the best band in the world since the heyday. But my fave, my boys, Mastodon, who came up from Atlanta, Georgia in the 99, and first album came out in 2002. Best album came out. For me, I've got every record of theirs. They are this kind of sludge stoner metal that was started out very heavy and hardcore and developed their sound and became more kind of progressive rock, progressive metal influenced, by everything from kind of, Pink Floyd, Black Sabbath, the sludgy, heavy riffs, really kind of, but they had melody and they had catchy hooks, and they've developed with their last 2 records into more of a kind of radio friendly kind of rock pop metal kind of thing. They are a bit more commercially viable with their last couple of albums, but I don't think they've done a single bad album. This is going to be their 7th? No, this is going to be their 8th studio album, and it's coming out on the 31st of March, called The Emperor of Sand. and they released over the last 2 weeks two of their new singles from it, which for me has been very, very, very exciting. I've done a write up for it. I did a write up for the release of their first single and a bit of a kind of what I think the album's going to kind of deliver on Clunk, on magazine, on the website.
Right, yeah. Our friends over at
But
Clunk.
yeah, but they released two singles. The first single was called Sultan's Curse. It's a bit more of the kind of proggy, heavy riffs. There's a kind of like the song structure just kind of opens with these kind of heavy drum rolls and big like riffs and so on and stuff. And it's got a bit of a mix between the three lead vocals on it. Brett Hines, Troy Sanders, and Brent Daler, the drummer, who's kind of now become the lead singer because he's got a kind of cleanest voice, and that's kind of what the sound of their more radio friendly poppier stuff. They go for the clean vocals as opposed to kind of really heavy growls and stuff. But they still mix it all in. But there's a return to kind of big, sludgy riffs and kind of, like I say, the more progressive elements of their 2009 album Crack the Sky. But it's a good kind of bit more meat and potatoes. Like you know what they're going for. To be honest, the lead singles on Mastodon albums have never been my favourites. It's always kind of their deeper cuts, their more kind of experimental, progressive works that have really, really sold the albums for me. So it's a solid, good song. It's and then they released another one called Show Yourself, which is really kind of like poppy, catchy, hook-led rock music. Not, you could play it on XFM. That doesn't exist anymore. But it's far more in the vein of Foo Fighters or Queens of the Stone Age or something like that. Kind of, it's catchy, it's riffy. It's only like 3 minutes. Which it's a kind of two-sided sword, because on the one hand, part of me is like, this is a far more simplistic sound that they're going for. They're not kind of really pushing the boat out with these tracks, Show Yourself in particular, which is pretty cleanly sung. Like I say, it's got a very simple verse, chorus, verse, solo, end structure, with mainly clean vocals and a kind of repetitive, catchy hook. But then the more I listen to it, it's like it is a really, really catchy rock song, and that's all it is. It's a pop rock song. It's not, there's almost no trace of the kind of metal side of them. You get a bit of growls in the kind of central verse, but it's very accessible, which in a way, you could, after we finish, type in Show Yourself by Mastodon, and it's instantly catchy. It's totally accessible, which is kind of cool. Maybe it's a cool entry point for people, but it is kind of going more down the path that they've trod on their last two albums, Once More Around the Sun in 2014 and The Hunter in 2011, which is, to be honest, it's fine by me. It's going to be a good album. I'm still very excited for it. That's all I wanted to talk about, and I will keep going on about it. And when the album comes out, I'll talk more about it.
Coming out again?
31st of March.
Okay, so quite a bit to wait for then.
Yeah, but there'll probably be at least another single or two, I reckon, before the album drops. Yeah, and there's a lot to go into. I won't go into it now. About it's a kind of return to the concept album that they're
into it. Stop.
Okay. Yep. Stop.
Sweet, man.
Is it bedtime?
I think you can go to bed.
Thanks, mate.
Good night.
Is that it? Are we signing off?
Yeah, I've signed off.
You can have a little taste of Martin's, closing jingle that he's been preparing.
Yeah, there isn't one.
I'm out.
I've told you, man. It's though I've got someone who's going to help me on it.
Good.